Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Thunder Bay Public Library capped off its municipal election events last night with a question and answer session with the mayoral candidates.
All 5 people vying for the top job on City Council were in attendance, sharing their views on some of the biggest election issues. Vasilios Bellows reports.
Over 200 voters were at the Waverly Library to see the 5 mayoral candidates: Ken Boshkov, Clint Harris, Gary Mack, Robert Shapansky, and Peng Yu share their views on important election issues. Rather than a debate, it was a question and answer format, where each candidate was asked separate questions that reflected the concerns of Thunder Bay voters. Peng Yu addressed crime in the city and stressed while council cannot have a direct impact, they must work with other levels of government who do.
We must collaborate with the provincial government. We need more fundings. We need more resources to fight gangs, to fight addictions, to fight mental health, to make life better for everyone.
Clint Harris got to speak about the labor shortage in the city, saying Indigenous communities in the region have a lot to offer Thunder Bay.
I truly believe if we set up a system to where the reserves in the Indigenous community actually came to Thunder Bay and we greeted them sort of as recruits as opposed to a boring sort of response to what they take up in our community. We could train and recruit and fulfill the needs of the Indigenous relationships in our community.
Rob Shapansky had the floor to talk about property taxes and affordability, saying he'll fight to ensure everyone in Thunder Bay has a roof over their head.
Landlords keep hiking up rent because the property tax is going up. So maybe property tax cuts on landlords so that we, as the tenants, can afford to maintain living and maybe even save a couple bucks here or there.
Ken Boshkov was questioned about which buildings and facilities should be run at the taxpayer's expense. He believes there are some projects Thunder Bay does not have to be directly involved with.
We have to make sure that our city recognizes the need for the private sector to do things effectively, quickly. We would already have a soccer facility if we would have let that go to a project. Many of these things the city does not have to be in, plain and simple.
Gary Mack talked about homelessness and said getting people safely off the streets will have lasting benefits on them and the city as a whole.
Putting together a task force to end homelessness in Thunder Bay, getting the right people together. It is much cheaper to house people than it is to have people homeless. It can cost up to $120,000 a year per homeless person in emergency services, police time, incarceration, going to the emergency. If we house people, you know what they do? They stay home. They're not on the streets.
Vasilios Bellows, TBT News.
And we'll host our own mayoral debate here at Thunder Bay Television next week. You can tune in to Issues and Answers on Wednesday, October 19th at 7 p.m. The 1-hour program runs right after the news hour on CKPR Thunder Bay and can also be viewed online at tbnewswatch.com.